Hello, my name is Bobby Christie. I'm a district-wide school psychologist for the Patchogue-Medford Family Center. Today, I'll be leading a presentation on how we can better understand and manage challenging behaviors at home. This is a very common issue that many of us deal with daily, but hopefully after this presentation, you'll be better prepared to help your child through these difficult moments. If you remember anything from today, I would hope that you take away the concept that all behavior is a means of communicating. Even at our earliest stages, we as humans learn that the connection between cause and effect helps us get what we need. A newborn will instinctively cry when they are hungry, tired, or otherwise uncomfortable. Each time we as parents respond and meet their needs, we strengthen the connection in their brains that their behavior results in a specific outcome. As children get older and develop more, their means of communication grows, but our behavior remains a clear sign of what we think or how we feel. As parents, teachers, and caregivers, we sometimes need to take a step back and play detective to find out what they may lack the words to say. The easiest way to break down behavior is remembering the ABCs. A is for antecedent, which is whatever happened just before behavior. It is the thing that starts the wheels in motion and can sometimes be anything. A sibling snatched away a toy, or dad is about to leave for work. Sometimes this can be one of the most difficult things to figure out because the antecedent might be something that might not mean a lot to us, but is significant to your child. Take time to really figure this part out. B is the behavior itself. What exactly did they do? Did they run away, throw a tantrum, become aggressive, or shut down? Usually, this is where we can really begin to look for clues as to what they are trying to communicate. If your child doesn't like something, we might expect them to see them avoid it or become angry at it. C is the consequence, which is another way of saying whatever happened immediately afterwards. Did the tantrum result in them not having to complete their homework or clean their room? Then maybe they were trying to communicate that, but they haven't had the language to be able to express those feelings quite yet. To recap, take a look at each of these ABCs and see if they begin to form a pattern. Here's an example of something you may have seen in your own lives. You're at a restaurant and you want to pay the bill. You see the waiter or waitress from across the room and you make the check sign in the air. This tells them that you are ready to pay and they understand this sign. Once they see this signal from you, they will bring over the bill and you get to pay. Another thing to think about is what need your child may be attempting to fulfill. Abraham Maslow is a famous behaviorist from the 1950s who popularized the idea that all people will attempt to have their basic needs met first before they can strive for less critical things in life. For example, if you're starving and don't have a roof over your head, you might be less concerned about if you're going to attend college or trade school later in life. These basic physiological needs or safety needs are always going to come first. Use your detective skills to see if your child is trying to get one of these basic needs met. As we mentioned, children are good learners. They, like all humans, learn the easiest way to complete a task, and then that's their normal way to do it. Each time they are successful with completing the task, it strengthens that connection in their head. If we want to change a behavior, we need to change the connection between the behavior and the outcome. If throwing a tantrum doesn't let me get out of doing my homework, eventually I'll make the connection that the behavior isn't working and I'll stop to find a new way. In this video, we see that the female character, Penny, is being reinforced for what the male character, Sheldon, sees as preferred behavior. While this is a comical way to show how behavior modification works, the ideas are based in science. If you find a way to be able to reinforce the behavior patterns that you want to see, you'll see an increase in those targeted behaviors. When we want to consider how we actually change behavior, we want to look at the connection between the ABCs that we discussed before. Looking at what need is being met is the best place to start. You can consider the Maslow triangle as well if you're feeling ambitious, but sometimes simplicity is best. After you figure out what they're trying to get, look at what their behavior is and how it's helping them achieve it. Also, consider what role you play in this. Last, we must think about the pattern of behavior in order to change the outcome. This can be tricky and take time, but sticking to it will work. So this is where we start to see how we can affect behavior ourselves. When giving directions, try to use very clear and simple language. Fewer words is better. Don't be afraid to repeat yourself. It may be annoying for you, but it'll be much more annoying for your child to hear the same exact phrase over and over again, telling them what to do. Eventually, they'll get tired of it and they'll listen. Last, remember the 3 C's. Keep yourself calm, cool, and collected. If you're in control of your emotions, you're in a better position to help them learn to control theirs. It's also important to remember to be positive. Tell your child what you want them to do, not what you want them not to do. If you give them clear directions of what they're supposed to do, they'll have an easier time. Last, don't be afraid to use visual support. This means pictures or different gestures to help your child remember what they're supposed to be doing. We'll cover that in the next slide. From young children to adults, everyone can benefit from having a visual reminder of what they're supposed to be doing. Having a visual checklist or routine during the morning or the afternoon, or even an activity planner to help a high schooler keep themselves organized for what's due next week can help them stay on track. These visuals are a great way to be able to remind each other what to do. Remember to pick one behavior to address at a time. Start with the one that's causing the most disruption. Often, we see that if one major behavior is addressed, the other behaviors will sometimes fall away too. Keep things simple. Don't try to overcomplicate the routine or the program. Stick to your routine. And don't forget, lead with love. Your child needs to know that you are doing this because you care about them and their well-being. You are not just a parent. You're also your child's coach. It's our job as parents to be able to help our children through difficult, challenging situations. We can't avoid all things in life that cause behaviors. Don't avoid situations where your child might engage in a negative behavior. We have to help them learn the coping skills to get through the behavior in an appropriate way. Also, remember that not all struggling is bad. Life isn't always easy. We can't just assume that everything's going to work out. Learning to deal with loss or difficult times is part of the growing up process. Sometimes I have parents come and tell me that the behavior at home is getting worse. I remind them that we're on the right track. Usually when we see a behavior increase, it's because we are in the process of rewiring that connection in their brain. Unlearning a behavior is difficult, and usually when we see a behavior increase, it's because the child is trying to establish that same old connection again. This is a sign that we are on the right track when we see the behavior getting worse, because the next step is when it gets better. Sometimes one of the most difficult things for parents to recognize is the part that they play in their own children's behavior. It requires that we take a look in the mirror to figure out where their children might be picking up some of these bad habits. As parents, we should always be mindful of what we say and do around them. Try to model positive behaviors and attitudes. Do your best. They'll figure it out soon. Always remember, going back to the 3 C's, to keep your cool. If you find yourself becoming frustrated or stressed out by having to deal with your kid and saying the same things over and over again, take a break. Take a moment for yourself. Get yourself in a calm, cool, and collected place before you start trying to address their behavior again. Don't let your children get to you. This part can be really hard because they know how to push our buttons. But the more that we keep ourselves calm, cool, and collected and stick to the plan, the more changes we'll see over time. Some important things to remember are to limit screen time and make sure that your child is getting enough sleep. These two factors account for a huge amount of difficult behaviors at home. While this can be difficult to instill, I promise the rewards will be worth it on the other end. Also, try to improve your communication with your children. You may think you have a good relationship with them, and that may be true, but there's always room to increase the amount of time we spend really communicating, really talking with our children. To recap, calm, cool, and collected is the way to go. Try to use simple directions. Don't be afraid to be a broken record. Use visuals to help when you need them. Also, let them be part of the plan. If you have any questions, we at the Family Center are here to help. We hope you enjoyed this presentation. Don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you.